On my desk is another legend. A monster from the depths of the 90s, weighing 32 kilograms, delivering 150 watts per channel, and ready to handle speakers even with 2 ohms. A legend founded back in 1949, celebrating the 75th anniversary of its founding by audio industry guru Frank McIntosh. Meet the integrated amplifier MA6800 or 6800, whichever you prefer. But before I go through its functions, examine the design, and of course we turn it on and see with our own eyes its legendary blue, as with the blue abyss of Luc Besson, the light of these very arrows. I ask you, friends, to subscribe to my TG channel, where exclusive content is constantly published, and of course I remind you that I make home theaters and sell select equipment, regular, vintage, at the lowest prices. So feel free to reach out, I'm always happy to help. By the way, this unit was provided to me by my neighbor upstairs. Yes, friends, it's Alexei from the Audio Sect. It also has great equipment. So that's us, cool guys, happy to help. Watch the video all the way to the end, and together we'll dive into its massive chassis and see how things are made in America. A few words about the company. After all, to get noticed, you need a gimmick. And of course, in Macs, this so-called blue eye, the signature dials on the front panel, have essentially become a symbol of the brand and a collector's item. Many try to copy or modify them, like Luxman, but everyone understands that in this regard, McIntosh is the pioneer. The second element that also sets Macs apart from the competition is the glass front panel. Many try to copy or modify them, like Luxman, but everyone understands that in this regard, McIntosh is the pioneer. The second element that also sets Macs apart from the competition is the glass front panel. Chrome details and black casings. This style has been maintained over time and has essentially become the standard in the world of home hi-fi. Audio friends, McIntosh amplifiers are said to have been used at many major concerts. For example, the company supplied sound equipment, you know where, for the famous Woodstock Festival in 1969. Well, you remember that crazy glam rock festival that basically turned into a massive orgy. And hipsters and audiophiles all came together in a unified wave. In general, I don't even want to say it, so get the kids away from the screens. We have to give credit to the Americans. McIntosh still manufactures all its devices in the USA at a factory in Binghamton, New York, I think, and this is despite global competition from all sides. McIntosh is also popular among the stars. For example, the audiophile legendary actor Gregory Peck. You've seen the movie Roman Holiday with him, right? I definitely actually even have his mini poster hanging up. He loved McIntosh, and he had a Macintosh at home. What can I say? Even John Lennon. Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead owned Macintosh equipment. Johnny, all you need is love. You remember who said that, right? Well, let's talk about our hero. This is the MA6800, as I said, an integrated amplifier, which combines accordingly a preamplifier and a power amplifier. And so, in one device, this is called an integrated amplifier. Overall, it's a pretty convenient device. Although I love separate components, this monster is really good, my friends, because it's powerful, assertive, and all you have to do is set it up, connect it, preferably, of course, listen to what we have here, but there's no balance. So just any source and connect your speakers to these crazy terminals, and it will drive them without any problems. But before that, let's take a look at its design and how cool everything is made. So, what do you like about it, friends? And what don't you like? The first thing that confuses me are these strange buttons. It feels like it was made not from the mid-90s to the early 2000s, but since the very beginning. Well, look at these buttons. They're so weird. I don't understand them at all because when you press them, there's really no movement. They kind of click right away, and it's very strange. All right, now let's together press the power button and carefully examine these truly legendary and very iconic dials, which are indeed a bit worn out by the inevitable passage of time, my dear friends. Let's press it. Whoa! Yeah, that magical green and kind of blue lighting on the indicators. Of course, it brings a bit of a warm feeling. Do you like it? Honestly, not at all. What about the knobs? They're interestingly made. You see, that's how the light turns on for us. Tape 1, tape 2, video. And it's really cool that when we look at the back, you'll get the feeling that this isn't an integrated amplifier, but some kind of receiver, because there are just so many inputs. Also, look, you can switch to mono. What else do we have here? Rec, mono, mute, speaker 1, 2. Look, I'm about to turn. Everything on, And here comes the garland. An American garland that the daughter panel could somehow saw off and hang on the tree. Another little detail, you see. A knob within a knob, so we have the volume here, and then you can also add bass. With this dial, and in the end, we can really customize the sound to our liking, which I generally never recommend, because for me, tone, the block, and all these loudness and super bass settings are just not the way to go, folks. We're all about pure, awesome sound, just hardcore, just flat. Now let's see what we have at the back. And it's just some incredible, crazy array of these inputs. Honestly, an unprepared audio enthusiast would just go crazy when they see the back of this map. Let's look at what we have behind us. And it's just some kind of incredible, crazy scattering of these entrances. Honestly, an unprepared audio enthusiast would just go crazy when they see the back of this Mac. First of all, there are some unusual terminals that I'm going to tell you about. Secondly, just look at this. Why is there so much stuff here? Here is the processor and the record. Here is the video tape, tape 2, tape 3. I mean, does anyone really have 3 different cassette decks? Why so many? Okay, I can understand 2, but 3? Just stick with 2. And then there's AUX. Oh my God, a phono preamp too? This is just madness. Look at this. What's the point? And you know what, friends? They should have at least put in some balance inputs. At least 2. But no, you've crammed in a ton of stuff here. And a few words about these terminals. It's definitely a cool thing, but in my opinion, it's a bit excessive. You connect your speaker, your audio system, and then you choose depending on what kind of speakers you have. If you have it at 2 ohms, then you connect it like this. If you have it at 4 ohms, then you connect the speakers like this. Well, if it's at 8, then you connect it like this, just like I said, remember? And this is the most cherished inscription, McIntosh Laboratory Inc. Made in USA. When I was little, this label saying Made in USA just filled me with awe, just like Made in Japan. And now Made in China can sometimes be even better. Let's open it up, so we'll put Mariah Carey to rest. By the way, it's a good album, equal to NCAA squared. Do you remember who came up with this formula? Albert Einstein. We're turning our monster to 32 kilograms. And the weight itself is right here, where this crazy transformer stands, which we will see now. There is some kind of hadron collider there. What do you think, friends? Should we open it up while it's hot, like some kind of daredevils? Or should we turn it off? Yeah, of course, we'll turn it off. Well, we're respectable people, so... Where's that button? Like this, exactly right now, please, if you could. Let me see. I wonder if it is here or there, somewhere else around this place, after. Just kidding. Like this. And that's it. Are we opening it? Or let's do it like this instead. Let's open it up. This lid is pretty flimsy. I thought it would be monstrous in the Mac. Something you could use as a shield. But no, guys. It's very, very, as you can see, quite flexible. Like a lady after midnight who's had a couple of bottles of champagne. And this is something, I don't know, clearly not a factory part. Let's remove it and take a look. You really see this and understand just how strong and cool Americans are. Because this device is like some car from the US, like a Cadillac or a Mustang or, I don't know, a Plymouth. Because Americans are the kind of guys who love everything powerful and big. That's why they have highways and, in general, their cars have never been about saving fuel. They have plenty of gas, and the same thing is what we see here. Just amazing. Power. Very cool, very awesome. The radiators are arranged like this. Look at this array of components. I just get lost when I see all this. And one more thing. Very thick wires. Yeah, they're covered in dust. But you can tell that they can't be taken down that easily. This is real power. And here's the most important part. Power transformer type 048455 friends McIntosh. Apparently there is some kind of Thor there, or maybe even an E-shaped transformer. But actually it should be a toroidal one. So write down, guys, what's hiding under this lid. And, of course, these arrows. This is what they look like on the inside. Guys, take a look. I don't think you'll see it anywhere like showing you.
just this little plastic wrap. Very interesting. And this is the volume control, guys, which you can also see from the inside. What can I say? And where do we have? And these are the capacitors. And there are two of them here. They're labeled as McIntosh Maidenhand, which I think is from the USA. Can you believe they do this in America? They're just crazy. I'm amazed, company. Yeah, listen, let me even shine a light on it. Maidenhand, what's that? Where's a... You erasure, friends. You erased, only Isa remains. And how many microfarads do they have? They have a capacity of 18,000. So it turns out 18 plus 18 is 36,000. Well, it's not that much, friends. 36,000, well, it's not that much, friends. Well, who else is going to show you something like this? So this is vintage, cool, expensive. Of course, it's just me, friends. And why is that? Because my neighbor Alexei from the audio sect came over, who sells all this stuff just like I do, and he let me test it. So if you want to buy this wonder, reach out to him or to me. We're always happy to help you. Because of the guarantee, because of the experts, because we're just the best. Well, why not? He's modest. Well, why not? So he's modest. To sum it up, how does all this sound, friends? It sounds good, it sounds powerful, it sounds assertive, it sounds fundamental, but very specifically, because you can immediately tell it's a Mac, you know? It's like with brass, it has its own neutral signature. Then there's Aku, which also adds its own tweaks to the sound path. And then there's Laxman, and he's a bit different too, friends. There's also Vinar. He's also a bit different, friends. So Vinar, if you understand technology and listen to it constantly, then you will begin to distinguish all this stuff. It's just like drinking different wines. When you try dry and semi-dry for the first time, you probably won't even be able to tell them apart. But if you're already an experienced wine connoisseur, then you'll be able to tell honey wine from Burgundy or some Italian wine from Tuscany. For example, it's the same here. I used to drink wine and could tell it apart. Right now, I'm just getting started, friends. I only listen to music and swim. So, about the sound. Do I like him or not? But overall, I'm a fan of the American-Canadian sound. It's such a powerful, serious delivery. You know, Boulder, Bristol class used to be like that. But now it's completely different. Because first of all, it's made in Japan. As far as I know, in Shirokawa, at the factory of the latest Class A amplifier. And it's just not the same anymore. But those Canadian Class A amps, yeah, they were powerful. So this whole group, it's awesome. It's a great sound. Powerful sound. Way better than the Japanese sound. I would put this particular model for myself, but it's already outdated. The power is a bit lacking. Despite its size and muscle, 150 watts is noticeable. It's cool, yeah. But when you compare size and power, it's just not quite right. My choice is more modern equipment. Well, again, I have Bryston at home. 2 monoblocks of 600 watts. The 7B Cube. And I want to say that Peter Thomas, the founder and legend of the audio industry, who actually came up with PMC speakers, has the same monoblocks at his place. They're powerful and cool. This device will easily give way to it. And it does. But this is a sound that deserves to exist, and not just for nothing. Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck specifically, I don't think he listened to this. He had earlier models. Plus, Max is famous for his tube amplifiers, and that's a whole different topic. I hate tubes and everything related to them because they just don't play rock properly at all. There are a ton of harmonics that we all perceive as sweet music, but it's just a deception, friends. It's like taking ketchup and pouring it on food. I try not to use it because, yeah, it tastes good. You know, with ketchup, as they say, you could eat a shoe. You could eat a... It's the same here. So I've gone quite far. It definitely has its place, better than the Japanese stuff, but it's really expensive and the design is quite specific, even if we abstract from the fact that it's used. If it were new, like some kind of wow factor for guests, you know? Probably not for myself.